It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you are Aaron Furbert.
Yes.
You're the Business Development Manager at One Communications. So before we get started and talk about some exciting programs that you have for small businesses, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for OneCom?
Sure. As mentioned, my name is Aaron Furbert. I've been with One Communications for about 3 years now, and I'm a business development manager. So essentially, I do corporate sales for them.
Okay.
So that's internet, TV, phone, but then there's so much more to it than just that. What we offer is no longer products, but primarily solutions.
Okay.
So beginning to end, from your internet to your phone to your software to your network, we can be a one-stop shop.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about those solutions. What are some of the products and services that you offer for small businesses?
So primarily for small businesses, we do a lot of bundles because for that market, a lot of the solutions that we're offering need to be cost effective. So first and foremost, you have your internet, you have your phone, which is standard, but I don't just mean your mobile phone, I mean your business phone.
Right.
So to be able to walk into your prem, you have a phone at the front, but then one in the office. They are synced. You have voicemail to email. You have a bunch of different features and functionalities that really just make your business simplified.
So what you're saying is if I am on the go or traveling and I have a business phone,
Yes.
I will still be able to get those calls?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it would come through like a local number on your actual cell. So obviously depending on what type of cell phone you have, so whether you have eSIM capabilities or whether or not you can simply just load up an app, everything can be functional in your phone, but then also you can be anywhere in the world and still do your business.
Okay. So for a new startup, let's say, what would be something that you would recommend that they get? Like what package should they actually get?
My recommendation would be a 250 gig package.
Okay.
So essentially, you have plenty of bandwidth for a small business, whether or not that's 5 to 8 users. But then you can also get a business phone, which
Okay.
allows you to have that physical handset with all the functionality. But then also in that bundle, you also get 2 mobile lines.
Okay.
So you can get 2 mobile lines at a discounted rate. So instead of having a very large monthly bill for your phone and if you have roaming or any overages, all of that bundle is very consolidated and it's a fixed cost every month. So you don't have any unforeseen costs coming your way. There's a lot on the business side that isn't as available on the residential side, and we're just trying to make sure that we are a premium service across the board.
Okay. So you mentioned residential, and I know a lot of our stakeholders, so in most cases, sometimes they're like sole proprietors, so they're one person. And so they would be operating initially with their residential phone. So like I have my cell phone, I'm doing business and conducting business on my personal line.
Yes.
What is your opinion, or what would be your recommendation for that person? Can they continue to do that, or should they transition? Is there a certain time frame? Do you think that they need to start transitioning into more of a corporate? Are there more services associated with that? Just want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, certainly. I would recommend the business route because as you try to grow your business, as you try to expand your business, you want to ensure that your existing products, that the existing services that you have are coming with a support contract. When you're on the business side, we have a dedicated team. There's about, I think it's either eight of them now, and they are on the go all the time, but they're attentive to the phones. We have curbside pickup. We deliver products to your business as well. So the support is what you're paying for. It's the team associated with not just the product that you approved.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Now, I keep looking at your shirt, and you mentioned Brava.
Yes.
So what is the connection?
Sure.
Yeah.
So OneCom Business has evolved. Essentially, we have a parent company called AT&I, and they have other markets in BVI and Cayman, in Bermuda and Guyana. So part of that evolution is a new rebranding, but also a new product offering as well.
Okay.
So the way it's phrased and the way that we have been encouraged to speak is, this is Brava, brought to you by One Business.
Okay.
So essentially, beginning to end, new delivery, new products, new team, just a revamping of what we currently do.
So with that partnership or that connection, does that mean we get access to more things?
Yep, so more resources for sure.
Okay.
A lot of the solutions that we offer, they require a bit more of just a plug in the wall and go. So we have a lot of cybersecurity elements, and then we also have your network team. So whether or not that's a switch, a server, a firewall, things that you require to keep your business operational in that IT closet that nobody wants to look into. My team go in, they scope out what you would like to do, and then I put it in a pretty package and advise you that this is option A,
Right.
this is option B.
All right. So, in terms of some of the products that you offer for small businesses and growing businesses, what would you say are some of the technological advantages to having Brava or OneCom or One Business?
One
I'm
business.
trying,
Yes,
I'm
yeah, you're there, you're there, you're there. So I would say largely it's our resources. So from the PBX, which is your business phone, our team can configure anything on the fly. It's a 24/7 support that's backing it. We, as in OneCom, we do man the Challenger cable, the interconnect that comes into the island. We own that pipe. So any other provider typically has to purchase a lot of that bandwidth from us and then
Okay.
resell it to you. We simply are your one-stop shop from a beginning to end solution. So
Okay.
it's exciting because as we have these new product offerings on the cybersecurity world, the small businesses sometimes feel like they are not a target for multiple reasons. You know, you get some of the larger key players, you have some of the institutions and banking organizations that seem like the main head hunters for
Right.
any of these attackers, but it's their everyday mom and pop shop that are even at risk.
I was going to say, I think cybersecurity is a huge thing. And especially now with PIPA coming into play in January
Yes.
next year.
Yes.
So what can you talk a little bit about how you support smaller businesses? Because
Sure.
like a lot of the larger businesses know that
Yeah.
they have to become compliant if they're not already.
Yeah.
So how do you support smaller businesses and get them ready for what's to come?
So OneCom and Brava in particular, what we focus on right now is a lot of vulnerability assessments. So
Okay.
this is us looking at your network, looking at your mobile, looking at any of your endpoints. So when I say that, I mean a laptop, I mean anything that's connected to your network. We would give you a full assessment and give you a scorecard. Essentially, this is where you are from an A to an F, and obviously F would be fail, right? So like it's our job to
Yeah.
ensure that as you're using our products, you're also as safe as you could be. So we would offer training for your staff. So you get phishing emails.
Now, is this free, what you're saying?
So what I'm saying it's more of a charge per person.
Okay.
And then what we recommend is like a quarterly assessment. So,
Okay.
hi, this is Q1, February. This is our recommendation. This is what you should be doing going forward. Say you as the business owner say, okay, I really want to do some phishing tests on my team. So we'll send off some test emails to them, whether or not people file it properly, archive it properly, or do they open up the link and now make everybody vulnerable?
Yeah.
Right? So there's different ways in ensuring that your staff are not only trained up to speed, but then there's also different products that we can put on your switch and on your servers to ensure that you yourself are safe at all times.
And is this only if you have like a landline or like the services and what you're talking about specifically around the assessment and making sure that they are safe?
Yeah.
Do you have to physically have a landline? Do you
No.
have to? Okay.
No, so a lot of the attacks, a lot of the DDoS attacks, which is what we are seeing a lot, is essentially think of a lot of really bad actors, really
Yeah.
bad hackers sending a lot of traffic, a lot of malware to your server. Your server is where a lot of your data is held, where a lot of your phones operate. If they're able to compromise that, then they can cripple your business.
Right.
If your business is crippled, then that you lose time, you lose revenue, you
Credibility.
credibility. So you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you make a headline for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So essentially, what we are doing is we're putting additional safeguards. So you have your firewall, which is very traditional, but your firewall really just manages your traffic.
Right.
It doesn't actually stop any attacks on that side. So the DDoS product,
The firewall doesn't stop attacks?
it does not stop attacks.
I didn't know that.
It can.
It says firewall. It says
right,
wall.
Yes, it can assess and it can tell you, hey, guess what?
Somebody's
happening.
trying.
But it's designed to manage the policy bandwidth traffic. So
Okay.
so you know, when you're sitting on a Teams call or a Zoom call,
Yeah.
and then somebody else is in the next room and they're downloading a big something or another. The firewall manages how that traffic operates and how the traffic runs. What we're suggesting is you need an actual layer of protection on top of that.
Okay.
And that's what the vulnerability assessments would prove. It'll prove that, hey, without this, this is what you're looking at. This is our recommendation. Feel free to take the information, don't take the information, but it's our due diligence to advise you so you don't turn around and say, well, nobody told me.
Yeah. So who would you recommend get these assessments? So is this someone that's already starting, or is this something that happens at the very beginning? If I'm just starting up, I want to get this business started. Should I go through this assessment first, or would you say have operated a while and then get the assessment? When should someone take advantage of that?
Because of how it's priced, I would say from the beginning, it's $12 a person, on each of their endpoints. So whether or not you have a laptop or a cell phone or anything of that nature.
So it's per person, not per device?
Not per device.
Got
It's
you.
per person. So it would, whatever devices are connected to that user, that's what we would scan for.
Okay.
So a large part of what we are offering is a full beginning to end solution, and what the assessments allow you to do is to see where you stand. So
Okay.
whether or not you want to start from jump and get a clear understanding, or whether or not you want to wait 6 months down the line, that's more of a personal choice, but the recommendation is more knowledge. More knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Right.
So at the start,
At the
why
start.
wait, right?
Yeah, why wait?
Get
Right.
it right before you
from
get
the jump.
started, so
From the jump,
you don't
yeah.
have to worry about it.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the service plans and products, the things that we've been talking about, but how flexible. So for example, I'm starting up, so I only need your basic package.
Yep.
How flexible are you with changing that out and adding or taking away as needed?
Yep. So the way that we operate is there's an MSA, there's a master service agreement, and that is posted publicly online. All of our contracts all reference the master service agreement. So if you go to the /Brava solutions, it'll all be listed there. But there are amendments that we can make to any contract. So
Okay.
I've seen enough contracts that are month to month. I've seen some that are 1, 2 year, and some that are 3 or 5. The way that our Brava pricing is bundled is you get the largest savings once you hit the 3-year or the 5-year term.
Okay.
So yes, obviously as a new business, you're starting up, you're first understanding a lot of your overhead costs, you're trying to understand what do I need to pay every month, but then
Yeah.
also now that I'm operational, can I sustain for a certain period of time?
Right.
The month to month is an option, but you really would, if you are able to agree to the 3-year, that is my ultimate recommendation, because the savings,
it's gonna be more
the
savings
are
over time.
significant
Yeah.
once you reach that point.
Yeah.
So
And that makes
yeah.
sense. I think sometimes, as a small business, you're thinking about your expenses right now. What is
Right.
it costing me right now?
Right.
And so in your mind, you're like, if I don't have to spend it out now, I'm actually saving.
That's right.
But when you look at it, like you said, long term,
Yeah.
you're not. You end up paying more.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know? So talking about the payments and that sort of thing, how flexible are you with working with people to set out payments that they are able to afford? Like, is that an option?
Yep.
Yeah?
So one feature that I don't know how new it is, but it's one that's becoming way more popular. You had mentioned like a seasonal something or another. Especially on our mobile side, we have different personnel that they work for the summertime, and then wintertime they go home to families. Or summer is their peak season, and this is the phone that they use, but the wintertime it does slow down.
Right.
There's a feature called Save My Number, which allows you to essentially take your monthly bill, say it's $89, say it's $110. You can save that number and scale it back to $5 a month. So you
Okay.
can retain that number, but when you're ready to reactivate it, you just send us an email and we can turn it back on. So that
Okay.
allows you, the phone will still be associated with the
Your
number.
business.
It
Yeah,
will still be
yeah.
associated with it. But when winter's coming and it's December to March and you're not using that phone and your store is closed, you can still have that number and retain that number. You send us an email, we will reactivate it. But at least you won't be billed
The regular, whatever your
regular rate.
monthly rate
Right,
would be.
right.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
good. I didn't know
Yeah.
that because, for business continuity's sake, right? You don't want to have to get a new number every
Right.
time because you guys, if you stop or cancel the service, the number goes back into the
back
system?
into the pool, right? And so it could be picked up by residential or somebody else. But if it's your dedicated number, you want to save this number, and you do work strictly seasonal, you might have another residential line, then your business phone can be scaled back, and then you can basically function as you would normally, just on the email side. You would just use other features just so you can save yourself that extra $300-400. And I know for a lot of startups that's essential.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's
it's huge. You'll be surprised. It's really huge. So what if, let's say someone's listening, they're like, ooh, I didn't know they had all that.
Yeah.
And they're interested in switching out their service. But they have this number, and for business continuity's sake, they want to keep that number.
Yes.
Are they able to do that?
Absolutely.
Oh.
So whether or not you're with one of the other providers,
he's like, why would you do that?
For whatever reason, you find yourself with one of the other providers. The process is called porting.
Okay.
Essentially, you'll reach out to my team, so you can go to the support team. Sorry. So if you go to onecom.bm and then /Brava Solutions, at the top there's a create a ticket or contact us. In the contact us, you're able to say, look, I have this number. I want to move it over by this date. Can somebody help me? So myself or somebody else on my team will reach out and say, this is some of the rates that we offer. This is how quickly we can do the process. And then this is some of the hardware allowance that we offer. I believe, and I can be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that we're one of the only telecoms that offer a hardware allowance.
Okay.
So
can you talk a little bit about that? What is
sure.
that?
So essentially, when you sign up with any of our services, we give you a fund, a bucket of monies that go towards upgrading your devices or a laptop or a tablet. So say you got one of our bundled offerings and their hardware allowance comes out to $1,200. You can take that money and go get a new phone. You can take that money and get a tablet. You can pocket it for the duration of the term and then use it as you will.
Okay.
But the larger companies do it, the smaller companies do it, and it's simply something that we do to say, thank you for retaining your business with us. As you grow, we want to make sure that we can give you what you need.
Okay.
So we have a healthy inventory, and it's just a matter of touch and base.
Okay, that's great. I mean, that again, that goes back to saving costs, right? So if you don't have to spend out to get this new device, you can use those funds, then it makes sense.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about what OneCom does in the community. What are some of the things that you do to give back?
Sure. OneCom is very focused on community outreach, not just touching base with different age groups, but also the educational bit around it. A large part of what we've been doing is being engaged with some of the public and private schools. So Dalwood has a food drive initiative that they put on. St. George's Prep also does one as well. There's the Big Brothers and Big Sisters mentorship opportunities that we have sponsored, but we've also gotten involved in. And then there's also the SPCA. So whether or not that's engaging and just volunteering our time, there's so many different ways that OneCom has attempted to not only be a public face, but one that is also engaged.
Okay.
So,
I think that's important too. And I'll say we've been the recipient of you working with us. You partnered with us for our Global Entrepreneurship Week activities, which is very important because it just shows that you're not just providing products and services to the entrepreneurs, but you're also supporting them on the other end. So we appreciate that partnership and looking forward to continuing it.
Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the success stories of small businesses that you work with. Would you mind sharing one with us?
Sure. One that comes to mind is Salon Indica. So they are a mom and pa's hairdresser on Victoria Street. They approached us. Their mother needed a little bit of everything. So your internet, your phone, your mobile phone. And her sons had approached and said, hi, what is the best option for us? What would that look like? A timeline, an ETA on delivery. And I would say that opportunity went extremely smooth. We were able to get the services when they needed it. But more than that, it was the hardware allowance that was, I would say, the differential, because they were able to take that fund, that monies, and then pump that into getting a new laptop. So now the laptop they were also able to purchase from OneCom was also used in their everyday business. So it's not just giving you the connectivity bit, but it's giving you tools that you need on a day-to-day to really set you apart.
And I think that hardware allowance can be like a differentiating factor, I would say, because that's money that the small business owner now can save, right?
Yes.
Because they are able to use that credit towards
right.
getting equipment that they need.
Absolutely.
That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the other thing I wanted to speak to you about is, in addition to that service, that was a great example, but what are some of the exciting new developments that we can look forward to?
Sure. OneCom and Brava in particular have a healthy roadmap. So what that looks like is a 3-year and 5-year rollout of solutions.
Okay.
As I previously mentioned, products is more of a.
Oh, we're not supposed to say that?
We're not. We avoid products.
Okay,
because
what do we say now?
We say solutions.
Okay.
Solutions.
What solutions do you have on the horizon?
A lot of the solutions are focused around the cybersecurity elements and
Okay.
essentially ensuring that your mobile becomes your one-stop, fully protected endpoint device. So
Okay.
when I mention an endpoint, I refer to a server, a firewall, a laptop, anything connected to your network. Your phone is also a huge point of vulnerability. So essentially providing you with different products and tools that are built in to differentiate you from everybody else in the market gives you that sense of security and reassurance that we as OneCom are taking care of everything beginning to end.
Right.
So it's more a matter of ensuring that you feel safe and protected to do what you need to do, and so any type of vendor interactions, you know for a fact that you're protected beginning to end.
And that's important, I think, especially for small business owners. You want your customers to feel like you're thinking about them and making
Yes.
sure that the systems and solutions
Yes.
that you're using are protecting them. And you're thinking about their security and their privacy and all of that too. And you guys are thinking about that as well.
That's right.
It's important.
That's right. That's right.
So, for those small businesses who are interested and their interests have been piqued from our conversation today, what's the best way for them to get in touch? Like, what do you think? What's their first step?
I would say go to our website. So that's onecom.bm. And then in the top right corner, you'll select business. That business tab will redirect you to brava.solutions, which is the evolution of the business and corporate side. There is a ticketing system which allows you to say, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm interested in. Can somebody please contact me? So you fill out that information. It'll be triaged to myself with assistance of our support team, and then myself or one of my other co-workers as the BDMs, business development managers.
Yes, they're acronyms.
And these acronyms will touch base with you and outline what your options are, a timeline in which you can get it delivered, whether or not a larger scoping exercise needs to be done. Because a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm just plugging something into the wall and it'll work. It's not that straightforward.
Okay.
There's oftentimes we do site surveys to ensure that, okay, you want cameras here, you want your internet to be able to reach here. Just giving you all the tools you need is not good enough. We need to be your hands-on. So
Right.
we'll come in, we'll assess your prem, we'll say, okay, you need an access point here, you need a switch here. We will do the hard work for you, and all you need to do is understand what flavor of the solution do you want.
I just realized what you said. You said prem. You mean premises?
Premises, yes.
The first time you said, I said, is he talking about a baby carriage?
No, not quite, not quite.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
that's important though,
Yeah.
because sometimes you don't even know what you need, right? You
right.
don't know, you know what you want.
Yes.
But I'm thinking that when you guys come out and assess, you can
Yeah.
say, well, you actually don't need all that.
Correct. So sometimes people want all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
which is fair, if you're starting off, but you need to understand what your budget allows.
Yes.
And so our recommendation is allow us to do the grunt work for you, give you our recommendation, and then you simply decide, okay, do I need the high end, or do I need the middle tier, or do I need the budget friendly? Because right now that's all that it allows. That's all the budget allows. But that's okay, because we want to make sure that you have the flexibility and you understand all of your options. There's a lot of value in knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And if you are simply given an option A, and you can't see B and C, then
Right.
you yourself
You
are
don't-
at a
yeah.
disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
We want to put the cards on the table, allow you to have the first choice, and say this is the version of what my solution should look like, and then allow us to do the rest.
Okay. I mean, I appreciate that, because I think we always tell people, you start where you are, you make sure that it's manageable,
Right.
and then you can expand as
Right.
necessary. And I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but you can say whether or not there's flexibility enough built in to, if they need to expand and get new products and more products, that they will be able to do that with OneCom.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So if people wanted to contact you directly, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Sure. My recommendation is to email me directly, which is afarbert@brava.solutions. And then my business line is 543-9162.
All right. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for coming on and minding your business with us today. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
That's right.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.